Hey, yeah, what's up? This disciple Marshall Occurrence rain back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-telepathy all day, anti-America all day, anti-cop all day. Everybody with him, yeah. So, this video right here is going to be about basically what needs to happen with the black on black crime that's going on. What needs to happen? And I concluded that for this zombie generation, and it doesn't matter, and it may not even be age. It's not always age that defines this zombie generation. It's the perspective, you know. And I concluded that anybody that get caught up shooting a kid and just a reckless killing, and it's defined as that they should get 20 years with no possibility of parole. That's the only way. Because folks, people are not going to change on their own. Love alone is not going to win this war. It's not. So if the world tarries any longer than a couple of years or whatever like that, this is what needs to take place. Because it's getting worse and worse. And people talk about love, and love will win the day. Love is not going to win this battle alone. Just loving people is not going to touch this generation of zombies. It may touch the real ones, the thugs, the gangsters. Yes, it may touch them. But zombies, it's not going to touch them. It's not going to touch zombie-like individuals that are just stuck on doing evil for no apparent reason. Shooting up kids and everything, babies dying. Love is not going to change individuals like that. I'm not saying put off love and stop loving them necessarily per se, but this will not solve the solution. This will not solve the problem of black on black crime and senseless killings that's going on. What's going to solve this is harder time being done in prison, period. Because when you have laws that puts people in jail for 20 years, I guarantee you people won't be walking around like they crazy, killing people. The most retarded acting of them all will realize, I don't want to do no 20 years in jail with no possibility of parole. None. No possibility. Because otherwise, people are just going to continue to do this because they don't feel like it's no real. Subconsciously, even if it's not to the forefront of their minds, they don't feel nothing really is going to happen to them. But when you have 20 years on the table at all times, even like I said, even the most retarded acting of them all will realize, no, I'm not gonna do no 20 years. When you do 20 years, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. For the average person, most of them are adults that's doing all these killings. Most of them. That's your young manhood gone, just like that. So by the time you get out of prison, half of them ain't gonna be able to you ain't gonna have no sex life. You ain't gonna be able to get no woman and have some good sex. You're gonna be on Viagra almost. And women, young women, they get caught up doing things. You might come out and not be able to produce no kids. When people see their friends go away like that, A lot of them are going to result back to childhood. Now you're sitting around eating chocolate chip cookies and drinking milk and watching South Park because you don't want no parts of no 20 years in prison. And you don't get those kind of results just with affection. You get those kind of results overnight with laws that are more severe. Now, cops, police, they should be getting 15 years. They should be getting 15 years. If they've been found to be guilty, it's 15 years minimum. 15 years minimum with the possibility with no possibility of parole. 15 years minimum with no possibility of parole. That's minimum. It may be bumped up to 20, depending on the shooting itself, but at least 15 years, and I say 5 years less for them because, first of all, they have guns on them. That's first of all. They're able to carry a gun on them at all times in their position. Second of all, they're facing nothing but evil constantly. This may cause them to just shoot someone facing evil, whether it's whoever the evil is coming from. Okay? However, we still feel the need when you're found guilty to give you at least 15 years. This will change senseless killings by police. As you can see also, they're not changing on their own. They're making the same mistake as their former counterparts. They're making the same mistakes. Because they're really one just big force. And you see people make mistakes 2 months ago, and sometimes in some cases, yeah, it's about that on the average. About two months, you just seen somebody, kill someone, and you turn around and do it. It was that bad. Where people were doing that at one time. These whole police shootings have been going on since Ferguson. That's 8 years. 7 years right as of right now, presently. January 27, 2022. That's 7 years ago. And cops are not learning from their counterparts. You would think the lady that shot Dante Wright would have seen enough going on with George Floyd in her own city. Not even mentioning that that's the same city, Minneapolis. You would think she would have seen the George Floyd situation and not made that mistake. So what has to happen, folks? People have to see that there are more severe consequences behind killing. They're not going to do it by becoming a loving creature. We can't expect this from the criminals. We can't expect this from the police. We can't expect it from no one. What we have to do in wisdom, when you see even people pushing people in front of the trains, that kind of thing right there, 20 years, man. I got it, man. I mean, 5 years, that's nothing. How much time do you think that guy's going to do? I guarantee you he's going to do 5 to 8 years. And he's going to get off on parole. Doing nothing. Back to doing nothing with his life. We have to put people away long enough for people to take these crimes seriously. They're not taking it seriously if you're not giving them serious time. I'm going to say that again. They're not taking it seriously, what they're doing, if you're not giving them serious time. If they're not getting any serious time, then they're likely to do the crime. But even the most novice rookie, when he looks in his neighborhood and he see people going away for 20 years, he's going to think twice. I promise you that. I don't care where his mind is at. 20 years will make the best of them sober up. They're sober right on up. Next thing you know, you got a whole changed community. And people can get mad. People can say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, people brought this on themselves. They brought this on themselves. Children being killed is just, we don't care about your life anymore. Once you do that, I don't care what you eat. I don't care I don't care if you have a good day. I don't care. Once you have done something like this, it's just time for you to go away for a very, very long time. And 20 years to me is a perfect, excellent amount of time for someone that has taken the life of a child. Infant children, toddlers and things. 20 years, man. 20 years. Okay? And when you threaten people, that's threatening the whole, your youth manhood. If you go to prison at 18, you're coming out at 38, you turning 40 in 2 years. So since you've been a fully grown man, you've been in prison, and 2 years later after that, you're 40. I guarantee you, people will sober up with this foolishness. And it need to be nationwide, state to state, metropolis to metropolis. Because what people would do is they'll migrate away from the laws. This isn't against the Tupacs of the world, the thugs of the world. This is against zombies. The zombies are the ones I'm talking about. They're, the thugs of the world are not doing senseless crimes like this. The thugs of the world are precise. They're hitting their targets. But these reckless new generation, whether they're older or younger, they share this. These people share mentality, and it's not a certain ethnicity either. They share a certain mentality. It's cool. It's all good to be just going around taking lives, and these are not people that even deserve it, and definitely, obviously, children don't. That's 20 years, man. I'm telling you, if this is not changed in the future, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. Something else is going to happen. Some type of system is going to be created. It's better this than some other type of system that is against more than the necessary. 20 years, yeah, you will sober up. It'll clean up the whole community by itself, just like a broom on the sidewalk on the streets. I guarantee you that. Whole community go through a metamorphosis overnight. You won't have to worry about love, all this loving people, what you're gonna do, what kind of programs, what kind of people you're gonna put in place to talk about this. No, put the law in place. I guarantee you. This is what's gonna help the future. This is what's gonna change this, man. This is that's why I'm making this video. I concluded this. This is what's gonna change it. If you don't do this, then people are not gonna take the system seriously. They're not going to take the crime seriously. We need them to take the crime seriously. Because now, folk, if you have not checked the news lately, it's every month now. It's every month now at this point. Okay? Some of you guys need to go on Facebook news, even though you might not want to watch a whole segment of news of any sort, CNN, NBC, or whatever, wherever you at. You might not want to look at the news and just sit through the news. You just go through Facebook news. Look at Facebook news. That's what I do. And you're able to see, without all the talking, without all the sifting through the details, you're able to see these headlines of senseless killings on Facebook news. It goes through it. That's what I do. I don't sit through segments of news anymore. I don't do that. Unless it's a certain topic that I want to look at. But if you watch Facebook news, you don't have to even, hear any sifting of details. You see these headlines that about all the killings of children and all the killings all across the nation. You guys need to know what's going on. It's every month now. Okay? And what I conclude is 20 years minimum. 20 years minimum. Because people have to begin. And while we're on the subject of the laws becoming more severe, we just gotta make everything more severe. Everything gotta be bumped up. The whole criminal system, justice system, has to have a facelift. The whole justice system. All these people playing these games, these clowns, gang stalking people, put them away for 20 years too. Because we don't need you playing around people's minds. We don't need you playing around people's life like life is your video game. All these white entitled people. White Americans, it's a lot of you guys. You walk around like with this entitled, like you're entitled, like you have some special aura about you, like your life matters more. Just like these people that's shooting kids and stuff, you share that perspective, like your life matters more than the next person or the people's lives that you're harming. Your lives don't matter a drop more. Actually, because of your actions, the value of your life is reduced lower than the people that you're playing around. Most likely, they're more valuable than you. So what we got to do is also put at least a 15 minimum. I would say about 15 minimum on them. Gang stalkers, 15 minimum. Because they're Americans that think they're entitled to play around people's lives like it's their real life video game. No, you know what? You're going to be in prison so long, you're going to come up with your own video game in your head with your surroundings. Unless you're going to go insane if you don't come up with some type of video game in there. You have all the time to program a video game. As a matter of fact, you might come out and make one and get some money because you're going to have a lot of time to make one. You're going to have a lot of time to make a real video game like you really want to live. You're going to have that time. Put you in jail for 15 years, buddy. And that's a chunk of a young man's life too. You about 25? So you'll be about 40 when you get out. Yeah, we put you away for 15 years, buddy. Find out you're in the same area, you're doing the same things. It's gang. We gotta start putting laws on gang stalking. Unfortunately, that's what. Yeah. We got a kid, see it for what it is, because what they do is they think that they're not doing anything. They are doing something. And so, 15 years for them. That's if the world tarries, you know what I'm saying? It's all fun and games, but, COVID ain't no game. COVID ain't no game. Omicron ain't no game. Why you sitting up thinking this gang stalking stuff is cool? This is what caused COVID. This is what caused COVID. God said enough is enough. It's not that his people could not handle it. Nobody's playing games, man. That's what I'm saying. No, we don't need you in society. We don't need you here. 15 years. And I get with no possibility of parole, I guarantee you they'll be home somewhere. I bet you they'll be home somewhere. I bet you they won't be riding around no more. They have a whole change of heart and sober up. Folks, this is the only way we're going to change this society. This is the only way. Because people have lost their minds. They suffer from psychosis. Some things you do, you can't come back from mentally. If you do stuff that is psychotic in nature, then you can't come back to rationality and a sound mind. That's why you have to be careful what you do and what you entertain in your mind. If you play games with people's lives, to me, which is a form of psychosis, the mental sickness psychosis. If you're doing that, then you can't come back to say, "Well, I'm a sound-minded person." No, you're not. You're crazy. And to me, and in my book, in my warrior book, you lost. You lost because your mind's gone. Your mind is gone. You lost to me. Somebody took your mind. I don't care if it was a group. I don't care if you join some group and that group is responsible for taking your mind. I don't care what it is. Your culture, you're thinking you're bad. Something took your mind. And you lost to me. I still got my mind. You see the topics and things I'm talking about? Oh yeah, I'm good. But meanwhile, you're suffering from psychosis, which is death of the brain to me. I'm not saying in all cases, but definitely in this case. In this case, playing around somebody playing games and you're walking in the energy of psychosis, you lost. You lost. You lost. And so, folks, when people put themselves and made themselves sick mentally by the things they're doing, they got to be put away from society. We don't want them here. They're sick. That's what's wrong with them. They suffer from psychosis. They think it's cool, but they're suffering. See, playing with me, you can clearly see the repercussions. That's why I'm getting respect. So while they're suffering from psychosis, everyone sees what everybody's going through as a result of their actions. I give God the praise. I thank him for what he's done. Because, life is not a video game, bro. This is not Mario Go-Kart. I'm sorry you missed that era. I'm sorry you missed Mario Go-Kart time. You missed it. Probably missed your childhood too. Most likely. What fully grown men want to join a secret society? A fully grown man want to be a part of a secret society. That doesn't even sound masculine. What masculine man wants to be in a secret society? It's not masculine. Okay? But yeah, like I said, the shooting of killing of kids and not just the gangbangers, anybody I say zombie mentality. That's what I call it. It's a zombie mentality. It's like zombies. You ever seen Walking Dead? The zombies are. You can't talk and reason with them. They have to be put down like dogs, like rabid dogs. And some will use this reasoning. Some will say we can't reason with these people. They're like rabid zombies. They have to be put down like rabid dogs. I'm trying to reason with the situation instead of mowing people down, through a system or some type of situation, militant situation, instead of doing that, I say put 20 years as the law for these situations without the possibility of parole under no circumstances. If you took a toddler's life, a kid's infant life, no possibility of parole, no possibility at all, 20 years. Solid. You're going to do 2 decades, buddy. And I guarantee you, the world would change overnight. But see, it's about America being soft. They're soft. You can't be soft on anybody. It's not about racism. It's not about picking on a particular people. This is where people. This is where. See, I don't let people play with my mind like that, because I know this is common sense. This has nothing to do with racism. This has to do with what's actually going on in the country. And people that's being killed every day like this, every month like this got to go. And the only way it will, you can't reason with anyone that's doing these things. 20 years without the possibility of parole.